Hey, welcome back to another Red Light Show with the hockey coach, Coach Frenchy, directly for the beautiful jungle tail end on Amazing Great Sunday night, October 5th, 2025. What a great day today on the sport and baseball and hockey and many news around the NHL. The beginning of the season is coming the next 3 days. And of course, we did a French show this morning for the first time. It was really good. I still have some problem with the French word, but overall, I think it was pretty good. And then we did the baseball. The Blue Jays get the second W against the New York Yankees, but it's called 13-7. We have a couple of people was with me this afternoon, so we thanks all of you to be with me. And finally, tonight we had the red lights for the Montreal Canadiens. They finally cut their players. We're going to talk about news around the NHL and the Montreal and the preview of the upcoming season. And I had the bold prediction for the upcoming season. What's coming for this week? We have another night of hockey tomorrow night. We're going to do the prediction of the season 2025-2026, different trophies and awards, everything like that. And then Tuesday night, we're going to do the first game of the season, Chicago Florida Panthers, followed by the baseball, the Blue Jays are back. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Montreal Canadiens. Friday, the Laval Rocket. All baseball at some point with the Blue Jays. And then the same thing going to happen during the next weekend if the Blue Jays move to the next series. So a lot busy during the week upcoming. It's October. Hockey is back. Hopefully you're ready because we have two people tonight for the Red Lights. The co-host of the every Sunday night is with me, Mr. Enortap. And we have the co-host of the Wednesday night, the home day, Mr. Marco Larrabee, because we don't have a show this week. So welcome back, both of them. They are ready to talk about what? About the hockey.
Absolutely great, Marco. Great having you join us tonight. The start of a new season is just around the corner. Can't wait for it to get underway and get these exhibition games done with, which were a bit of a waste of time, if you ask me. But overall, followed up by a beautiful Blue Jay win today. The Montreal Canadiens' future looks good.
Very good. Félicitations, coach, pour le lancement de ta nouvelle ton nouveau podcast les dimanches. Félicitations. So yeah, very cool to see a new show on Sunday morning is a great time to connect and talk about hockey. But you're right, Enortap. Like I think everybody, especially the players, like you could see a lot of the players are pretty excited that they're only going to have to play 4 preseason games next year. So I think that's the right move. So lots to talk about tonight. Amazing day in sports. My heart is still pumping from that that amazing inning. With Vladdy hitting the grand slam and crazy first grand slam in Blue Jays history in the postseason. Just an incredible game. Made it a bit more interesting.
Don't forget LaSavage's great outing, man. Savage, he was no-hitting them.
Yeah. And, guys, like in hockey, we talk a lot about, analytics versus the eye test and everything. And I still struggle sometimes with some of the analytical stuff. Like I get that, they have a lot of science behind how many pitches a pitcher should pitch. But it always seems weird to me when you take a pitcher out that's just dominating. I get that they want to save his arm for maybe game 5, but I know the Blue Jays have been burnt in the past, some second guessing on that, but eye test versus analytics, baseball. I think the analytics people won many years ago. In hockey, it's still a bit of a debate, but always interesting to see that in baseball when you're looking at the pitch counts and all the different analytics that come into play.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good to see them play that way, and then a great picture today. So we'll see what happens Tuesday. We have a few people knock the door. Samuel is in the house, and Mac Elliott again is with us tonight. Welcome back. Claude Richard de Ottawa est avec nous. Billy from Nova Scotia. John back in the house. Merci beaucoup, John. Standerman. Welcome back. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Roy knocked the door. Welcome back from Bangkok. And then we have Julien de retour avec nous ce soir, de suivi de Triple W. Yes, c'était pas trop facile, Triple W, parler en français. Samuel, welcome back. PLW, come back tonight. And go with the right pitcher, I believe, something like a Scubal, whatever it is. But Arzik Labo knocked the door. Thanks so much. And then Jerry from Sweden is in the house. Welcome back. Stenderman, of course. Zev Lecab from Philippines. Welcome in the house. Thanks to be with our Canadian Live Show. And then Marco and Enortap, Arzik Labo, and Roger Bouchard back to with you. And then Jerry from Maryland is with Hockey Nation. So thanks, everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on like. We appreciate it a lot. And
Coach,
if we don't mention you,
before we move on from baseball, though, Coach, I did catch your live stream with JB, and how much he was a Yankees fan. So you might have to bring him back if things continue to play out this way to have a little chat about his Yankees.
We definitely to get that. Roger Bouchard is a big fan also the Yankees. He's in the chat. He loved the Yankees, but he believed it will be the end. Merci beaucoup, Dan, about this. We're going to do it again next week in French, but at 10 o'clock a.m. The people request at 10 a.m. So be ready next week, next Sunday. I'm going to study my French like I study Thai every day. That's not a subject for the time. But the subject of the night for everybody, guys, is about we got our team, Let's Play Hockey by Martin Saint-Louis. But before that, we're going to go to NHL news because there are a couple of news around the league. And we start with the Chicago signed veteran Matt Grezik. 1 year deal at $1 million. He was invited as a PDO with the Chicago Blackhawks. And the reason behind that, they have only Gordon Murphy as a veteran defenseman at 30 years old. And they was waiting to see if some young core of the defensemen could survive the full year. And they realized it may be difficult for them. So they decided to sign Gretzky for the upcoming season. And they sent down a couple of players to the Chicago. And they're going to be ready. But it will be very difficult, honestly, for Chicago. But Gretzky is going to be with them for at least 1 year. Following by the Winnipeg Jets signed today Nikita Chiprigov, a 2 years deal. Winnipeg deal with some injuries right now, so that's the reason they get him. And he's going to be between the Manitoba and the NHL. Trade in NHL today. Rand Ellis and a 6-1 pick with condition to the San Jose Sharks and the Philadelphia get Grundstrom, Guriev. Both of them already on the bar. Not Guriev, but Grundstrom is already on the waiver. And Guriev is playing the East Coast Hockey League, so minor trade for that. This is more about the money, money-wise, for the San Jose Sharks. For the next 2 years, they still have a contract of Ellis at $6 million. A plus, Carolina claim Brendan Bossy. I put goalie there because people will say, what the heck was this guy? From the Florida Panthers, is an ex-goaltender of the Boston Bruins, played draft by the team, grew up with that team with the Providence Bruins, was the backup and played a couple of games with C. Pietro. And he was signed a contract 2 ways by the Panthers in the summer. And they have no choice to put him on the waiver. And the Panthers, with Caden Primo, they put him on the waiver today. And they now sign Bossis going to be with a part of the team. We know the Carolina, I believe they still have no team affiliation. I could be wrong here, but I think I'm right for that team. So we'll be interesting what's happening with Caden Primo for the upcoming season in the American Hockey League. And Carolina is going to get a new goaltender and the AHL. Today, 43 players, by the way, on the waiver. And honestly, guys, they have a minimum of 6, 7, or maybe 8 goaltenders today. One of them, New Jersey Devils, Nico Dawes. What do you think could happen this one?
I think that's a player that a goalie that a lot of teams could look at, especially if there's injury issues with them happening. But a bit surprised there, Coach, to be honest. But I guess they have the depth, so they hadn't. they didn't have much of a choice moving forward.
It's good timing for Montreal to put Kakinen down, right? Like for those who were concerned that he might get picked up on waivers, beautifully timed, to kind of throw him down when you have somebody like Nick Dawes going down. New Jersey, they had a lot more depth. Like they had Schmid a couple years ago. They got rid of him, so it was a position of strength. And I don't know, Jacob Markstrom is a free agent at the end of the year, and likelihood, I guess they'll probably re-up him. But he is 35 years old, guys. So I'm not sure I love that move from them.
They have no choice. At the end of the day, they have no choice.
Yeah. They're in the window where they're competing right now. New Jersey, their team is at the maturation point, so you don't have time to screw around with your goaltending. But I don't know how long you would extend Markstrom at 35 years old. Like, that's kind of frightening. So it's just interesting to me because New Jersey had all that depth, like Dawes, they had Schmid, and then they had Wellwood, they had Wellwood. Like they had a lot of depth, happening in net. So we'll see. Like Nicholas Dawes, very capable, really good in the AHL. Definitely had some moments at the. I think he came up and played a little bit
2 years ago.
So we'll see. Like some good options for some teams that need the depth, right? But let's remember, if somebody gets picked up on waivers, then you have to bring them up to the big club right away. So if you look around the NHL, which teams, the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, they have Reimer on a PTO. So maybe that's a good move. Maybe that's an upgrade over Reimer. I don't know. We'll see kind of what happens.
We have a few people knock the door. Mr. TH, Pete Martin, Henry is in the house. We have Joseph is in the house. And then we have Mr. A2 knocked the door. Welcome back. Tommy Myers also with us. And if I forget some of you, we apologize. Joseph is coming from the Hamilton, Ontario. Thanks to be with us. Luc Fortin knocked the door. Welcome back. Luc Esten, have any surprise with who was put on the waiver today? Enortap or Mr. Marco? Any surprise other than the fact we talk about the goaltender? I think for me, Edmonton Oilers have to jump in on. They have a good goaltender. Like they have Kakkonen. They have another one I forget. He is on the waiver. I think Oilers should look about this.
Yeah, they just picked up Ingram, coach. I think that's kind of their guy.
But they put him on the American Hockey League.
Yeah, but
that could be temporary, right?
Yeah, they want to give him some time. Like he was. I think his mom died. He was a part of the player assistance program last year, so they probably want to send him down, get him some games, and then call him up. Like it was good timing for them because they didn't have to put him through waivers, or when they claimed him. I forget why it is, but they could send him directly to AHL without passing him through waivers. So I don't know if Edmonton is the team. To answer his question about surprise on waivers, like, are there any surprises? Like, I think we talked about the goaltending. Other than that, like, I don't think, there's that many players that I was shocked to see there. I don't imagine that there's going to be too many players that get picked up on waivers, but I could be wrong.
There was only one surprise for PLW, coach. Michael Pezzetta from Toronto.
Yeah. He scored a beauty goal, too, in his last game for the Leafs, too.
We talked about this yesterday. Everybody told me I was not good. How about that?
I tried. I was supporting you.
I know goaltender. I knew I was under one, and now I look as a goaltender, Ottawa Center, Max Sogard.
Oh, Sogard. That's a very interesting one. That's a guy with a good upside, too. So that is a good that's a good one, Coach. You're right.
You're absolutely about that. Yes, PS, I play on the left wing, and Enortap is on the right wing, and Marco is a big giant, 6'4", so we'll put him on the center. And Enortap is slow a little bit, but we get from him. He's just sit on the dots with a one-timer shot, so don't worry about that. PS, welcome back.
Wait. Are you calling me lying?
I'm looking at the list again, so RHP is on again.
Again.
So RHP,
Primo.
Primo, Samuel Blais, obviously we'll talk about.
Yeah. We have Eric Gustafsson, a defenseman.
Kaliev, actually. They put Ottawa put Kaliev. That's interesting.
That was a bit of a surprise, yeah.
They played him almost like every exhibition game. I don't know if he doesn't play in your top 6, then I don't see. But with Batherson injured, I thought they might give him a bit of a shot, but
yeah. So we'll see what's happening about that. A couple of injuries, not many, but we have Cole Perfetti, guys, is out weeks to weeks, so there's some way I have to be careful about that. Definitely for the upcoming season, of course. Primo was one of the players to go to American Hockey League for sure. So that's pretty much we got about NHL. We don't want to focus too much on this. Honestly, we want to pass the night on the Montreal Canadiens, and we finish early. We're going to finish early, but it's time to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. And meanwhile, we got a subscriber, the Hockey Nation. Thanks so much to subscribe to Hockey.
Enortap, you like that groove too? I like we were both.
Oh yeah, that has a nice beat to it.
It's a rocking transition track there, Coach. Keep that one for sure.
Here we go. Montreal Canadiens, we're going to jump in right there. RDP knocked the door. Welcome back, RDP. We want to talk about this because it's happening during afternoon. The time it's about the Montreal cut Florent Jacquard, Owen Beck, Adam Ekstrom, sent to the Laval Rocket, and they put on the waiver Samuel Blais and Kakkonen. That said, that changed a little bit the Montreal Canadiens. So I would like to hear from all of you in the chat, and of course for Marco first, and Enortap after that. What do you feel about the decision Martin St. Louis at the press conference last night? And I have it in French. I don't want you to play. But he was talking about he does not like to have 14 forward. That's put me a red lights right away there after I listened to him. And this morning in the French show, I talked exactly why possible this afternoon, where I was, before that, possible Montreal go with 13. So Marco gave us a little bit more information like we just talked about.
Yeah. Well, we've been talking about it for weeks, guys, during the whole camp. And I think anybody who's been following the camp, like you could kind of see this trajectory happening, right? Like there are some interesting races. I think in the last couple of days we've talked, and everybody's been pretty clear about it. I don't think anybody had a bad camp, and there's a lot of players like Beck and Jacquard that stayed right till the end of the camp, and they had good camps. But I think everybody could kind of see how things are evolving, where Kapanen obviously was just a really good fit, and St. Louis was really appreciating his play on the ice and kind of how he was what he can do on the ice and everything. So I guess after St. Louis mentioned that it's tough for him to manage with 14 forwards because it's easier to tell one guy that he's not playing, but to tell two guys it's not as fun. So I guess, and also you can't forget that you're also accruing extra cap space, right? When you have somebody, I guess with Samuel Blais, I guess he's on a 2-way deal too, right? So, or is he? I don't know.
No, he's a 1 year deal. I believe it's $1 million, but $750 $1 million.
Yeah, so you're not saving money that way, but obviously St. Louis doesn't like to have an extra guy, farting around and being in the way, right? So, so to me, I think there's some really good depth there. We're not sure what's going to happen with Budzik. It looks as though he's probably going to be ready to go for Wednesday. But if for that's the beauty of having Laval right there, is that it's not very complicated to call somebody like Blais up. I think Blais had a very, very good last game, and I think everybody has a good sense of what he'll bring to the team. But I think this is the right moves. I think Jacquard is going to benefit from playing a pretty big role in Laval. Don't rule him out coming towards the end of the season. If things go well, he would be a really nice addition to the lineup, maybe during the playoffs. But no big surprises here, Coach, other than the fact that they're just going to be carrying 13 instead of 14.
Yeah, I just want to make a correction, but not correction, but confirm now. And PLW did the same thing before Enortap talk. Semi Blais have a full contract at $775,000. So a little bit difficult. It's happening last year with Barry Boulet. They have the same kind of contract. And of course, Kakkonen is at 1.125, I believe. Kakkonen, 1.150 contract one way for Kakkonen. Can use those kind of the contract because they know if they put them on the waiver, it's a bit difficult for the team to pick up that players. A lot of people, Pete Martin said Samuel Blais would be picked. I'll let finish in our tab before that, before I comment on about what I'm thinking. So, Mr. Enortap.
Sure. Like for me, the encouraging aspect of all of this is that they definitely gave the coaching group a hard decision to make. We weren't surprised in terms of who was cut, and we can't look at it from the perspective of who may have been a bit better and who was a bit worse. I think it's all about trying to fit the pieces and make the picture complete. And when you have somebody like Veleno that gives you that versatility, can play on the left side, he can play center, he can win faceoffs, he can kill penalties, he's got good speed. I mean, I love the truculence of and ruggedness of somebody like Blais to bring in once in a while in different games. But St. Louis wants to go with the 13 forwards for now. Don't be surprised. When you look at guys like Jackeye and Engstrom, I thought that they impressed at camp this year. Beck a little bit less so, but he was still good. It was encouraging from last year, right? And you're going to see as the season goes on, this is only temporary. I think at some point we'll see one or two of them back, especially as the January, February months roll in and the hockey starts to get a little bit rougher. You're going to see a little bit more calling up of guys maybe like Floria Jackeye, so that they can offer that versatility to their game. So I'm not surprised with Kakkonen as well. I think we had talked about that last week. That unfortunately, Dobesh really impressed as well. So he would help out somebody like Fowler in the AHL with his experience. So that's a good move as well. So the future is very good for Montreal. I'm glad that they're confronted with these kind of decisions.
Good point about that. Mr. Marco, you want to add something?
Yeah, just one last thing. And you can probably apply what I'm about to say to if we talk about what the lines are going to look like. I'm sure if we go back to the opening lineup from last season, it's completely different from what it was, 3 weeks, a month later, right? So we tend to, it makes sense, right? Like it's a huge build-up training camp. We're really focused on who's going to be on the opening day lineup. But Martin St. Louis said it, well, when he said the race, it's not like it stops, on game number one, right? It's a race all season, really. So like Enortap said, like it's just a good problem to have. Like some players left some good calling cards, in training camp, and we're going to continue to see things evolve, not just with who is up with Montreal, but also the line combinations, guys. I think there's a lot of questions there, and some formulas that he's going to play around with, and like Martin St. Louis loves to say, like, we'll let the game guide us, or we'll let the results guide us which direction to go into, right? So I think
we'll see who goes after that loose ball, as he always puts it.
I saw some people saying, hey, Grant McHagg was right, Kapanen's going to be the second line center, and maybe like that. Hey, if Kapanen turns out to be the second line center and can play, and that's amazing, right? So, but it's very early, guys. Like it's training camp. He does definitely seem to have some good chemistry with Demidov. So let's hope it goes well, man. Like let's see how it goes. Hard. I wouldn't pencil him into that quite yet, but good start, anyways.
Sound good. We have a few people knock the door. One of them is Guy. Guy, back in the house. Welcome back, Guy. Thanks to be with us. The moderator, Run with Kings 20. The Fantasy Hockey League is with us. I apologize, Ron. Marco and me, we left the building after 30 minutes this morning. So we have nobody there, and Enortap was scared to talk to us. So we decided to leave the building. Yeah, focus a 16 pick at the end of this. You need a lot of focus in Enortap. I'm sure
you do.
You shade, you got the really a smash and the trash can. Anyway, listen, guys, I want to make just a couple of comments on that one for the Montreal Canadiens Cup today. No surprise for me for Jacky, Beck, and Ekstrom. For me, was all there since the middle of the week. Plus, they put Kapanen not in the lineup. It was just perfectly. And I knew Joe Veleno, a lot of people, I got a lot of heat. It's on the weekend. Everybody said, no, he don't do that. Listen, he's a left shooter. They need a center. They need some depth, and he would be in front of the Blais if he does the great things. I was really impressed by Joe Veleno's speed-wise the last game again. Yesterday, guys, 2 times, he beat the left defenseman really deep, and then he decided to make a bad decision. He was too generous like Owen Beck. He put the puck behind and not in front of him. So anyhow, at the end of the day, I really like the camp of Veleno. It well done. Sad for Samuel Blais. He does not have really bad game. He did not make a lot of mistake. He was physical. He did exactly what he's looking for, and I think Montreal was happy about him. But unfortunately for them, they don't want to carry on 14 players in the bus. So I understand Martin Saint-Louis as a coach doesn't want to do that. And I think for the benefit of maybe, I don't know how this can help in the salary cap at the end of the day for the Montreal Canadiens to go that way. But that's happening for the Montreal to keep 13 versus 14. That said, Kapanen and not Kapanen, but Kakkonen and Blais on the waiver. I'll be shocked. They will be select or they will be claimed. If you look about the NHL, if you want to take a time, guys, go right now, check each team, and look about who they have already. Their team, guys, is not 99%. Their team is already set. You know what I mean? They have already the players. And I don't think any one of them said, you know what, we're going to get Sammy Blais and go to remove Isaac Howard, example, or David Tomasek with Edmonton right now. I don't see that. I don't see that kind of claim for any other team. And not focusing only on Sammy Blais. But if you look about other players, I don't think this happened. I'll be shocked if tomorrow I wake up and we have about 5-6 player claim in NHL. You're going to get maybe a goaltender, because I think the goaltender, what they have right now, the waiver could be select, but not much after that. You're not going to see Justin Hole or something like that to pick it up right there. So I don't see too much about the waiver. And if it's happened, guys, but you know what? It's good for Samuel Blais. I would be very happy for him. He can get a job in the NHL. And then that opened the door for Owen Beck, for Florent Jacky, or any other. I know Blais is a winger, but still, I think that's happening for the Montreal Canadiens. So I don't know if you want to add something about that situation, Marco and Enortap.
No, I think the only thing I'll say is Jacky is a winger. I'm pretty sure Jacky is going to be a winger in the NHL more than a center. Like maybe a winger that can take face-offs, but yeah.
We'll see what happening about that. We have a couple N26 is out. I've got the players wanting to play physical. Keep the soft players. Nothing ever changed with this team.
Come on.
I don't think so.
You're not. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
Like, if you look at Marco, if you look at the players they kept, check all of their heights and weights, and we saw even in the exhibition games, it's not a soft team. And that's if one thing they want to set the tone for, and it wasn't just against Ottawa, it was the fact that this year they're not going to get pushed around.
Listen, you're not like we all understand that they want to make the team a bit harder to play against after the playoffs against Washington, mm-hmm. but you're not solving that problem with that right now with Florian, and Blais, right? Like they're that mostly at this stage. Players are going to play on your fourth line, you're mostly going to win with you want that kind of toughness in your top 9 more than but again, Florian has the potential to maybe play in on your third line, like as a winger, I think more so, but not yet. Like he needs a little bit more time. So I'm not sure I agree that their lineup is soft,
And
but
yeah, and the other thing, Marco and coaches, they really want to complete the entire project properly, right? They want to develop the young kids, and if you keep certain players that are young right now, they're not getting that repetition that they need in order to sort of hit their ceiling and then be ready to play at the NHL level. Like so many careers have been lost because players have been brought up way too early and fitted into certain positions at a point in time in their career when they weren't ready. And that's one of the promises I think that they made at the beginning of their tenure, that they were going to do this slowly and properly, with the exception that if things happen along the way and opportunities arise, that they wouldn't be shy to pull the trigger on either deals or whatever it takes to complete the picture a little bit more. But guys like Jack Engstrom, of course, they're NHL ready, but if they're not going to get more than you know, 8, 9, 10 minutes in a game, then we're doing them a disservice.
And just to respond to Nas here, he's listing the bottom 6 players for Montreal and that no one fears them. I don't think fear is necessarily what Kent Hughes is looking for as he designs the roster. He wants a team that's hard to play against. And I would say that a lot of the players that you have listed there, whether it's especially Gallagher, Anderson, Budzik, and you could say Kapanen is, again, he's not an intense player, but he's big, right? So he protects the puck well. So I get it. Like they probably want to be a bit there's still a little bit of size and grittiness that they want to add, but you could argue that on the back end too, right? Like they have a lot of puck moving defensemen, and if you don't have Jack-Eye there, then they don't have as much of. And if Goulie's not playing, then it's kind of a different decor. But I wouldn't agree at all, Nas 26, that their bottom 6 doesn't have players that are hard to play against. I don't think that's the case. It's a team mentality, like Martin Saint-Louis talks about all the time. It's the pack mentality thing.
And that's what they were trying to show in the exhibition games as well. The other interesting thing that I read today, guys, when after they made the cut, did you know that 12 of the 22 players were all that are going to appear on opening night were all first round draft choices? So it's not too hard to make a stretch and see where they're going with this. It's creating team toughness, but through talent, right? And that's possible.
Great point about that. We have a few people knock the door. Roger, back in the house, Mr. Judd. Welcome back. Thanks to be Talking National Show. Don't forget everybody to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be great. Tom M is in the house. Welcome back. Bob Smith knocked the door. Well, not Bobby Smith, but Bob Smith is in the house. And then we have John Huet. Then we have Pierre W. So the golf season and 26, Marco Hughes won a solid lineup, but versus Washington, the team got pushed around and did not have the ability to push back. I disagree with you.
Disagree.
Exactly. So to say that they didn't, even against Washington, you can't say that. Like, did you see Josh Anderson fight Wilson in the bench? Like, I didn't see a team that wasn't willing to push back even in the playoffs. And obviously we saw what happened in the preseason. So again, like you can always make a team. You always want your top, like everybody wants a Matthew and Brady Tkachuk in their top 6. Everybody does, but there's not many players like that in the NHL, right? So you try to kind of build that in a little bit into your lineup. And I think it's a mindset. And I like the mindset that the team has right now in terms of being able to defend each other. And last thing I want to say, Coach, you talked about Veleno and his speed. It reminded me a little bit about kind of the transformation that Newhook went with Martin Saint-Louis last year. Martin Saint-Louis had him focusing on using his speed, not just to create offense, but to pressure defense. And we definitely saw that with Veleno yesterday, right? Like pressuring with his back checking, using his skating. And even Veleno, his team toughness was there. Like it's not like he was pushing guys around, but he was heavy on the puck, right? And he was winning puck battles and stuff like that. So
And he was
team toughness
and he
is
was
key.
63% from the dot.
Yeah.
Great point. A few people knocked the door again. We want to welcome Mr. Big Steve. Welcome back. Steven is in the house. Luc Lafortune knocked the door. Welcome back, Lucky. And then we have another one I missed. I apologize for that one.
Big Steve.
Big
Steve in that.
Knocked the door also. And thanks to be with our Canadian show. If we forgot your name, we apologize. Too many people knocked the door. But don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. For me, I would like to talk about more soft team, but if you look about the bottom six right now, I see a lot of speed. Anderson, Newhook, Budzik, and Veleno. I see a team going to move the puck very well. I see they use the talent to have a better team right now, and because you think maybe Blair or Jekai or Jekai. Jekai is not ready right now. He's coming soon, right? And when he'll be ready, you're going to have more players move out of the Montreal Canadiens. So it's just take a time to create your own identity. But right now, at the top six, they have Sakaski 6'3", Doc 6'4". You have defenseman 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", Jekai. Thompson is another 6'4" over there. I don't see that. And Seattle take the lead 1-0 and home run for the Seattle Mariners. George Polanco hit a home run. So again, for me, I don't see that. Like for me, it's very important to be that way. Okay, Mr. Corvell isn't out. He still got only one offensive line. Goal will not come easy. TH to have a fantasy, fast, skilled, talented players team to be every team. Super chat, Darrell AK scored the first goal of the game, guys. Darrell did this goal. Oh my God! Thank you, Darrell. Here we go. The first goal of the night, scored by Darrell. We're going to give an assist on the line. Billy and Guy, they play together all the time, so we have to give them an assist on that one. Maybe not the fastest skater, but at least they play very well on the defensive side. Pete Martin, Bush Bouchard knocked the door. Welcome back, Bush. Thank you to be Hockey Nation. Show appreciate a lot. So I can understand your point of view, and who can be agree or disagree for that. It's not a big deal. But I want to talk, before we talk about other things for the training camp, I want to talk about the line for this week. I assume, I could be wrong, but let's see what we got here. Zuski, Sakaski, Caulfield, Kapanen, Demidov, Newhook. I put Doc with Gallagher and Budzik, and I put Evans, Liney, and Anderson, and my 13 players sit on the somewhere in the heat hot dog is of course Joe Veleno. That said, maybe I could be wrong here. Liney could be back with Doc and Budzik, and Gallagher with Evans and Anderson, but I don't see that. So you can shuffle the line, you can change everything here. It's no matter. But the people in the chat tell me what you think about that prediction. I may be wrong here, but how you feel about that? Enortap, there we go.
That's it. And if Bolduc is not ready for Wednesday night, he'd probably be inserted in that spot. I think we can't get hung up on the fact that we're calling these lines 2, 3, and 4. I mean, they're interchangeable. Don't be surprised if they draw pretty much the same amount of ice time during the course of a game. We know from the past that Marty likes to roll his lines and then shorten it if in the third period there's a need to. But it gives a bit of rest to some of the players and offers that opportunity for them to be fresh on a consistent basis. I like the fact that on the lines themselves you have you have players that can play the wing and can also take faceoffs and play center as well. You see it in Newhook and Kapanen, or as he likes to be called, Kapanen.
Japan.
You see it with Evans. Obviously, you have Doc. That, to me, he was a good surprise to me this camp. He looked a lot faster and seemed more confident. And yet again, there's another guy that's 6.4 that doesn't necessarily play a rough game, but he can get physical when he needs to be, and he's got good speed. So when you couple that with the line mates that are there, I like the chemistry between Kapanen and Demidov. They seem to be clicking, and you throw Newhook in there, and that's a fast line right there, like a creative fast line, and all three of them can score.
One word, gentlemen, it's balance. If you've heard me talk on this channel before, you know how I like teams that have a balanced attack. I don't like top-heavy teams. One thing you can't disregard this year, guys, with the amount of back-to-back games Montreal is going to have, you don't want your top two lines playing over 20 minutes, and you don't want the ice time to be too disproportionate. So I really like the idea of balance. Now, are these the combinations that you guys might have rolled, like the line that I had, I think, when we did our preview, I had Evans
you had Line.
I had Evans with Newhook and Line, right? So I'm not too far off. Like, I think I'd like to see that. The only thing I'm a little concerned with the Kapanen line is I wouldn't mind seeing Anderson up there, just because I wouldn't mind a little bit more physicality and somebody to stick up for Demidov if something were to happen. And just somebody a little, like Newhook's pretty good at pressuring the puck. But I'd like a little bit more size just to kind of dig out pucks in the corners. And I think Anderson would be a good fit there. So listen, you can debate. And like we said, like, day one, the lines that we're seeing right now, I'd say there's like a 20% chance that these are the lines, other than the first line. My headline for my show on Wednesday was, after the first line, nothing, we know nothing, right? That's pretty much what my headline was. And I think we're still there. So I don't know how much value there is in us debating the lines right now. But what I can say is I just like the overall philosophy that St. Louis is taking here, which is balancing. I didn't like having Doc, Demidov, and Laine together on the same line. I don't like having Evans, Gallagher, and Anderson on the same line for the same reason, because you're putting all the same types of players together on one line. I don't like that. Now, maybe if it's the end of the game and you're trying to protect a lead, then okay, then you can put Evans, Anderson, and Gallagher in the last 3 minutes of the game to protect the lead. But I would much prefer to see Gallagher and Anderson on two separate lines, because they kind of do the same thing. Like Anderson is way faster, but they're both good at winning puck battles. They're an F1. I would much rather see them separated. So we can debate what the lines are going to look like. And so they're going to continue to experiment, find the right chemistry. But I like where he's going with it.
They did like that line, though, last year, Marco. They kept that first line and the fourth line, if you want to call them that. They kept them intact for most of the time.
But you did. But you had Armia, though. But you had Armia that was doing kind of the same thing on the other line. You don't have him anymore. So you need to spread. You don't have another guy like that to put on another line. So that's why you might want to spread them out this year.
Gogol is set Jake Evans, extra forward.
Okay, why would you do
that?
Why
is that?
I'm not trying to be mean.
Who would be on your penalty kill?
Yeah, he's like.
That's what I don't understand. That's why I want to talk about that. He want to put Anderson, Newhook, Gallagher, Kapanen, Villeneuve, someone else. I forgot now. He's moving up. But I think for Gogol on that one, I think I would disagree with you with that one. A balanced team is good, but you need chemistry to do that.
Well,
A lot of people
that's
talk
what came
about Florent in the chat. I'll just try to resume a little bit what the people talk about this. Billy go with 50 points for New York this season. I predict you, Billy, Guy, about 35 assists with the Hockey Nation this season, by the way. But you have Butch, as long as Florian work on development, thing is the other crucial skill beside it would be good. We talk about Gary Connery is in the house, by the way. Welcome back. N26, he go with Caulfield, Zuski, Sakaski. No change there. Liney, Dak, and Demidov together. New York, Evan, Bolduc together. And Anderson, Kapanen, Gallagher, and Velino, the extra for N26.
yeah. Like, again, guys, like, and I see a couple comments like, every line needs an identity. Well, I think the whole team has an identity, right? So, and the identity is to be tough to play against, to pressure the puck. I think you want the lines, again, like, I think there's times in the game where you can kind of put players together. You can bench manage it, like I said. If you're down by a goal, then yeah, maybe you do put Doc with Demidov and Line A in an offensive zone face off, and that's fine. But 5-on-5, Luc was saying, like, you need chemistry to do that. Well, that, like, describe to me what chemistry is, Luc. Luc, what chemistry is you have different people doing different jobs so that you all work together in the right way. If you have all the same types of players on the same line, you're all going to kind of do the same thing, right? So to me, again, and chemistry sometimes is just natural. You can't explain it. You put three guys together and it just happens. Like, it's hard to explain. So it's not that scientific sometimes. For some reason, sometimes things work. But from when you're designing something like this, to me, the template anyways is you want a playmaker, you want somebody that's going to go get the puck, like somebody who's going to go, like a puck retriever, and a shooter. Those are the three things ideally that you want on a line. Now, again, it doesn't always work perfectly, but ideally, if you could have one of each on each line, to me, that makes sense. I don't know, Enortap, what you think?
No, it totally makes sense. I understand. It's the fact that each line will have to complete they'll have a different role, right? You want your fourth line usually to be more responsible, to be maybe bring a little bit of energy to the game as well. Your first couple lines should be your scoring lines, and that's the key. Like, you can't make the chemistry happen just by randomly putting some players together. It comes from being together, and they know each other as well, so they can read each other's thoughts and know where they're playing. And that's why personally I really like Demidov with Kapanen. I think that they really understand each other and the game extremely well. They have a hockey IQ that is off the track, off the map for sure.
Great comment for Stephen. Steven.
I was going to say, I love that. I love that, Stephen.
Go ahead, Marco. That's good.
Yeah. Montreal had Skrudland, Richer, and Corson. But to me, that's perfect. That's a really interesting combination of line. Like, Richer, obviously the sniper. Corson, like, he wasn't necessarily known as a playmaker, but he had good vision, and we know that Skrudland was the ultimate kind of grinder. Yeah, he's physical, but he had good like vision on the ice, right? Shane Corson. And then Skrudland was a really good face-off guy and just a really good two-way player. So, again, it's hard. Nobody has the perfect answer, right? Like, but I think Enortap, I kind of push back against your idea of this template of you have two scoring lines and two defensive lines. Like, I think you can, like, that is a model that you can use, right? I think it's more situational in a game. I would much rather have four lines that just always attack and are responsible defensively all the time.
Yeah,
rather than
that's number one.
Yeah, so have a balanced line that all of them can play the same style, which is very aggressive, fast, in your face, and all over the ice, not just in the defensive zone, but in the O zone. Sandy wants to play fast. Now, again, situationally in a game, if you're down by a goal, then that's a bench management issue where you can say, you know what, And it's not only the situation of the game. Sometimes you might notice that one player just doesn't have his legs that night, and then you move things around. So to me, that's bench management, in terms of whether you're winning, losing, who's going, who's not going. These are all in-game decisions. But in terms of designing 4 lines that they just keep rolling over the opponent over and over, 1 line, 2nd line, 3rd line, 4th, you just keep going. And I think one of you said, I think the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th line, there's not going to be that much. The only thing that's going to be different for ice time is going to be specialty teams. If you're playing on specialty teams, your ice time is going to look like more at the end of the night. But 5-on-5, it's going to be very even, unless there's a line that just is playing super well, and Saint Louis decides to double shift them because they're just playing well, right?
Yeah. En French, on dit il y a une tortue à toutes les lignes. Il y a une tortue. Laine, Gallagher, une tortue. Kapanen, c'est pas la plus grosse vitesse dans la vie. Puis Sakowski, c'est pas. Donc, peut-être que la balance a commencé là avec la tortue. Turtle in our tap. Each line have a turtle. Slow players on each line. Look, we're going to get set together next week. And the line would be modified again.
Yeah, for sure.
We cannot panic with what's going on now in the chat. A lot of people can say this guy. When I see that, honestly, it's not negative. I'm going to say that, but I think another term in French. I apologize in our tap. I don't know. Maybe I speak French this morning influenced me tonight to go in French more.
I tried.
But Marco, une patate chaude.
Ouais.
Puis je crois que Martin Saint-Louis, il a une patate chaude avec Patrick Laine dans ses mains.
Oui, absolument. Oui, c'est
vrai. Make the tradition in English, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's a hot potato. It's a hot potato. Patrick Laine is a hot potato. You're like, and that depends, right? Like if he plays like he did last game, because I really liked his last preseason game. I think he was back checking. He was intense. You guys have heard me say before his turnovers at the offensive blue line. For the first time in a long time, I didn't see him make any of those. But when he's not playing that way, he is a hot potato, and you don't know where to put him in the lineup. 100%.
It's going to be a fluent combination of players and lines, and also rest assured. You might not agree with me, but rest assured, Kent Hughes is not done this year. You will see at some point. I don't believe it'll get as far as the summer. You will see a 2C coming in.
Yeah,
that's my bold prediction.
Yeah, like imagine, guys, if you could have, we'll just say, okay, like a left winger, a left shot second center. And then all of a sudden you can move Kirby Dach to the right or to the right wing. And then put Demidov on the other wing. Whoa, like Kirby Dach as a top 6 right winger, to me, I like it.
He's amazing.
I think
I like it too.
Yeah.
Roger Delaney is in the house. Look, Francis, tell you a lot about Lenny when the coach does not know what to do with him about that. And I always said that again. Patrick Laine, unfortunately, his biggest enemy is himself, right? And I will add one more thing. The Carolina, I believe, does this a lot. I think Tampa Bay does this a lot. Florida Panthers does it a lot. Who else? Those teams, Marco and Enortap, they run their team at 4 line. They're not afraid to use the line. And I will... If I remember, I could be wrong here. Maybe you can correct me. But how many times Paul Maurice sent his 4 line at any time? Like, he's not 100%. Afraid to send a Katkovic and anyone. And I think maybe that's what Martin Saint-Louis tried to accomplish here. And I think at long term, that's what we're looking for. And
for sure.
Another thing you're going to pay attention for all the fans for Montreal Canadiens. For the first time in many years, Montreal Canadiens are a team going to be on the transition this year. I'm talking about transition. You're going to have defensemen going to join the rush a lot. they're going to follow a lot. They can move the puck with the entrance with Madison, Dobson, and Hudson. So the system going to change a lot, and you need speed with your team. And I think right now, I'm still not sure. I know a lot of vibe right now, and I can understand about Oliver Kapanen. And I understand everybody said but I'm still not sure about Oliver Kapanen. You can put anybody with Demidov, and you're going to look good with Demidov at the end of the day. But we'll see what happened there. Like I said, you're going to have modification. They're going to work on it. I think what we have right now, we have a first line, and that's it. The rest guy is shuffled. He's going to shuffle the card, and they're going to try to get the best chemistry at some point. And I hope for the Montreal Canadiens, they're going to get that one there. A lot of great comments in that chat. Last final here, Marco and Enortap, about the line. Do you need something else you want to add, or we can move on to the next thing?
Une chose en français. Je vois Pete Martin dit « lâche pas la patate », c'est une de ses expressions préférées. Une petite chose en français pour nos amis en français. Je travaillais avec un garde de sécurité, puis l'expression en français que j'ai entendu qui m'a fait le plus rire dans ma vie, c'était il avait dit que son partenaire qui travaillait avec lui avant que je travaille avec lui, il a dit qu'il ne mâche pas les patates trop vite. Like, he doesn't mash the potatoes very fast. Ce gars-là, il mâche pas les patates trop vite. That was one of the funniest. Potatoes are a very funny thing in French.
Yeah. We have a lot of people in the chat comments about the line, everything like that, and we'll see what's happening there. Nathan, want to add something?
No, let's move on. That's good.
In French.
Oh, yeah. Oui.
And I would suggest you guys everything else about that. People jumping a lot like Mayu go well, Budzik does not go well, and we take Safkaski over Cooley, and we take that one over that one. Guys, it's not matter. It's how we're going to take the players to make the team better to try to get the Stanley Cup. That's all about. Whatever Mayu win the Norris Trophy, it's not matter. It's how the Montreal Canadiens to go all the way to win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
He can win 3 Norris, Logan Mayu. Okay. But if we win the Stanley Cup twice, that's the difference for me. That's what I don't care the individual players. When they leave the building, on Montreal Canadiens, I don't care. They can do whatever they want. I don't care for me.
Coach, you opened up this door. So you have to let me respond on that. You opened up the door on this one. So if you'll remember, and I'll say this, it's way too early to have any type of conclusion about Zach Bolduc. So I'm not saying anything about Zach Bolduc. Like, we all understand he didn't have the best camp, okay? But I'm still very encouraged, and I'm still very curious to see what he's going to bring. I like the player, right? What I said though when they made this trade is, I wonder why, because Mayu, say what you want, I think he still had a lot of value in the market. A right-handed potential top 4 defenseman like him had a lot of value. My only question is, we talk about asset management, right? The reason I still question, why did they decide to move Mayu for a winger? Montreal has a lot of winger. I know they think he's going to be a physical winger. He's a shooter. He's a left-hand shot. I get all that. But I still wonder, in a few years, we'll see if they're able to get a second-line center. Montreal, I wonder if they have the assets to go get that second-line center. Mayu was one of the biggest assets that they had, guys, to go get that second-line center. Now they're going to probably have to trade something off their. They're going to have to trade something off their roster now. Like, we talked about this. Like, you might have to sacrifice someone off the roster. Slavkovsky, Caulfield, who are you trading off your roster to get a really good core second line center? So that's my only thing with Mayu. I am not saying they've lost a trade or anything. I still question, though. I want to put it on the record. Was it the smartest move to move a right-handed defenseman and not get a center out of that deal? That's my only thought. No.
I think their intention was to go 2C, but Also, if they beefed up their wingers, they know that they're going to address the 2C spot. Um, we always knew, Marco, that they were going to deal. They were going to have to deal somebody that was going to be painful to trade, right? And you have to deal from a position of strength. And at this point, defense happened to be the calling card here in order to get somebody at Bolduc's qualifications. And this guy, hesitate not, worry not. Bolduc will be an excellent winger. This guy can do a lot for this team with his speed, with his shot, which we haven't seen yet to any extent. And he retrieves a lot of pucks. He wins battles in the corners, and depending on what line he's on, you're going to see he's going to
We'll see.
retrieve the puck,
We'll
and
see.
he's gonna perform. I'm confident of that.
Yeah,
The other
and
one I would
listen,
say, because the other guy that's taking a lot of slack right now is Dobson, and you got to
yeah,
realize the guy's playing with a bit of a groin pull, and
yeah.
he'll be fine. He just didn't want to, obviously, like he got beat on the wing, chased down in the last game, but the guy went around him like a pylon. But I think that's because it's harder to create a longer stride when you have already a groin pull, and so Dobson will be fine.
Super chat.
Tommy
Super chat.
M.
Tom M. I know I'm old, but I just think Demidov need this is Mixolé, Mr. Enortap.
He's a little bit old, McSorley, now.
Thank you, Tom. Tom knocked the goal on the top shelf right there. He said he is old, so I'm going to get an assist to Luc Lafortune, Mr. Enortap, because we're going to get that whole line together. So we're going to get that one. I'm going to get an assist to Roger Delaney at the same time. So you can be old, but you can find a way to put the puck in the net. That's the most important things about that. So thanks so much for that one. A lot of people talk about Tom and now Mayu left and right. Steven Taramexoli was a defenseman just like Arbor. About that, Mayu need to be gone at draft him. It was black market. Will have fired Martin Schubert-Gervin. Don't worry, folks. Mayu is never winning the Norris. about that one over there. As we go, Roger Delaney got an assist, by the way, so congratulations about that. I heard Mayu is doing pretty good with the Blues. They want Hughes to overpay for a second setter. Hughes was smart not to, and I think he want to do the thing at the right time to be a little bit patient about the second center. Why was Dobson play if he was a grain?
That's a good question.
Full,
If he wasn't right,
I've
if he
made
wasn't
it
right,
once and been out a long time.
It's a simple answer as well. And, he's also trying to adapt to a new team, a new style. To keep him out, 4, 5, 6 games in the preseason means it's going to take longer for him to get into the proper shape. Like he's a veteran. He knows what he has to do to nurse it properly. Like there's no issue there with him having gotten hurt any further with that. I thought that's why he came off as being sluggish a little bit, is because he was being very protective of his injury and trying to still be in the flow of the game and understanding who he's partnered with, guys like Matheson and so on. And that's important, getting that chemistry that we were talking about earlier.
It's preseason, right? So
yeah.
I'm not, when it comes to Budzik or Dobson, I'm not coming to any conclusions at all. So I don't want anybody to think just because, again, just because I still question a little bit the asset management, I didn't think Mayu is going to get a second line center by himself, right? But he's a very big asset, right? So to move that asset for a winger, we'll see. That was my only question. But I'm still very excited to see what Budzik is going to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm trying to get the time of Dobson Saturday night. Apologize. I'm going to give you this in 5 seconds. I'm getting there. He played 90 minutes, 59 seconds. So he was not injured. He was healthy, like Kaden Coley, play 1946, both of them. Dobson play 22 shift, and Coley play 19 shift. And nothing wrong with that situation. Not concerned about him, not concerned about any one of them. They just need to be on the ice. I think it was only his second game, maybe, for him. But not a problem with that part. Just to be sure they play together before the beginning of the season. It's coming this week. So we have to wait him for Noah Dobson. So I like to comment in the chat. Thanks for everybody. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. If you don't mind, that'd be great. I appreciate a lot. And subscribe. We have about 75 and less of subscribers to get the 10,000. Now, I want to get this one over there. And very quick, and then we can move on. At training camp, let's review it. Stood out, obscure, and obvious like we do at the recap game. I don't want to do the game yesterday. I think we have to move on. We did overview of who was cut. We did overview of the line we expect. But if you talk about the training camp, Martin St-Louis talked about the fact like he wants to be sure it's going to be a good training camp. Started the first day. Accountability was a one-to-one responsibility, focus, and to go all the way like this. I think overview for me, you have a good camp, Martin St-Louis this year, more prepared and better the way they did this. But it's still, some players stood out, some player was obscure, and some player could be at the office. So, Marco, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, well, I'm going to stood out. It's not that he was the best player in the camp. To me, the player that stood out the most is always Hudson. But I'm not going to say that. To me, what stood out the most, and you alluded to it before, was Doc. Just I really liked how he's moving. I just like the look of what it looked like. So to me, that stood out, and it was very reassuring to see him come back and be able to move his feet, to be implicated in the play. So to me, that's what stood out the most. He's not necessarily the player that performed the best or stood out the most, but to me, that's what stood out the most. Obscure for me, this might surprise people, is Mike Matheson. I think other than Hudson, to me, Mike Matheson was the most consistent defenseman, I think, in the whole camp. Just really, really confident. His feet were moving. I really liked his camp. It really made me kind of start thinking about, what to do with him in terms of an extension. But man, what do you do with him? Like, that's a whole other conversation, guys, with Engstrom and Jackeye and Struble. Like, what do you do with this guy? But to me, he's the obscure guy of the camp. Like, I just think he had such a strong camp. In most cases, he was probably the guy the defenseman that was the most consistent other than Hudson. Office for me, I'm going to say Slav. Again, like if you saw the series there, the rebuild series, they had a sit down with him at the end of the year saying how important it was for him to have a strong start to the year. Loved his first game. Like, I think, the beginning of it anyways, with Suzuki and Caulfield, they had a really good, strong game. He had a nice assist yesterday, but overall I found him to be kind of clunky a little bit last night. So again, he didn't play that much, but I would still bring him into the office and just remind him how important it is to have a good start to the season. So overall, though, I don't think there's too many guys that had a bad camp, but I would bring in Slav just to kind of make sure that his head is in the right space and ready to start a strong season.
Enortap?
Well, if we look at the entire training camp, for me, I think one of the stood outs, and as you said, Marco, a lot of them impressed and deserve mention here, but I'll go with Engstrom. I thought that he showed that he's definitely NHL ready. We forget also that he can play on both sides, left and right, and he was playing for the most part on his offside and looked very good anyways doing that. I thought he left his mark on the team. I think he's probably the first call up if there's an injury or on the team on defense, and it also opens the door. We were talking about having the assets, and we talked about Mayu. Well, it opens the door. Can he be ready right away to replace maybe a Matheson? As much as we sometimes don't want to do it, but and something to get you that 2C at some point during the year or even at the end of the year. So that's something that stood out for me. Obscure, I would go with because I wasn't expecting it, and I've sort of looked down sometimes last year at his play, but I would say Kirby Dach. I thought he brought a lot of speed to the game. I thought he was prompt in getting involved in plays and finishing checks when he had to. He could keep up with whoever he was playing with, and I thought he created some opportunities for himself. So I would go with that. And with the office, I mean, I agree with Slavkovsky. I'm just wondering if that was more of a, it shouldn't be. I'll say that first and foremost. But I'm wondering if it is sort of him just, taking it easy, knowing that he's got a spot on the team and, not performing to his capabilities. If I had to throw somebody in the office that I thought at the beginning had to really show that they belonged on this team, it would be Joshua Roy. And he didn't produce yet again in the preseason. So it's unfortunate, but I would definitely have a word with him and then see what the best course of action moving forward for him is.
I think they are doing that. Like, didn't they meet with him today, or they're going to meet? So I think
Probably.
that's actually happening. Yeah, I think they are actually meeting with him. Coach, before you say one other guy, honorable mention for stood out too would be Newhook. I think Newhook had a really strong camp as well.
Yeah,
too.
good point.
There are great comments in the chat. We have a couple of fun names by the people. I like that. Stood out for me, Lane Hudson. Lane Hudson for me is like, no one is close like Lane Hudson right now. Like, this kid is amazing. Like, he blew my mind.
Despite the last game.
He blew my mind.
He wasn't his best, but he was, I think, still the best Montreal player. He was still the best Montreal player, I think.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No close as to that. I'm a little bit. I understand that it's only 2 games, everything like that. You name a couple of players like them. I tried to get someone. What my expectation was, surprised me a little bit more. And for me, for my obscure players, you have 2 players. I think you name it. Mike Madison for me play a solid camp, in my opinion. My obscure this morning, and I have to give a credit also with Jaden Strobel. I think Strobel have a good camp for what he have accomplished. He did not create any like the highlights. So he did not make like a big goal there or make a big play, but he was solid. Like he was play solid. It's not perfect, but I think for what he played his role perfectly, and that gave me hope. If someone get hurt for the top 6, we have a good backup plan with him, and plus Engstrom.
Coach,
Engstrom have a good camp.
I have to ask you then the question that begs to be asked then, and I'm just because I want people to throw tomatoes at you in the chat. If you're choosing the opening lineup, are you starting with Jack-Eye or Struble with Carrier on the bottom pair, based on camp?
Jack-Eye.
Oh, the camp, yeah.
For me, I didn't like Jack-Eye's last game either, to be honest. Like
he wasn't with Carrier. If you look at the games that he was paired with Carrier is the responsible.
Overall, would you say that Jack-Eye had a better camp than Jaden Struble?
Slightly, yes.
Not me. I disagree. I think based on what Coach just said, like Struble, dependable, physical, had a good fight too. Like, so for those of you who say, well, you need Jack-Eye because he's like Struble doesn't use his physicality. Well, he got into a fight, was physical, dependable, didn't make any mistakes, was good on the PK. Jack-Eye had a bunch of turnovers. To me, Struble had a stronger camp.
He didn't have a bunch. If anything, I thought he showed better judgment in terms of when to pinch and not. I thought he was physical throughout the entire camp. I thought that he was also very responsible defensively. Like I don't know. I would disagree with that. And I loved Strubel's play as well. But I'm just saying at this point, I think Jack-Eye even offers you the size that Struble doesn't necessarily have as much of.
I would suggest you for all the people next game is Wednesday night. Okay, take a pad, take a note. Every time Jekai sent a pass to someone, how many times he hit the target in our tap?
Exactly.
That's the problem I have with him. Like
so many turnovers.
But he just has to be responsible to clear the puck. He doesn't have to make the perfect passes. If he clears it off the board, which is what he was instructed.
I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about a pass to go straight to tape. This is one area of this game, or the details game, is have a lot of difficulties for me. He needs to be better on that. Exactly like on the PK. You want to use him on the PK. I think he could be a solid defenseman PK. He needs to be better on the PK to do that. For me, if you compare the camp to camp, Strouble have a better camp versus Jekai. That said, yes, understand they will use Jekai because who he is, everything like that. I have no problem with that part. But just reward side, Strouble have a better camp at Jekai.
But wait, you said, Coach, they'll use Jekai for what reason? What's that reason?
Because his size.
Because he can fight? No, but, that's part of it. That's a big part of it. Especially if you're a defenseman. You need big guys to clear players out from in front of the net. And he does do that. He does.
Not really, though. No.
I'm not in front of net. I would disagree with you. In front of net, you need to win battles.
He doesn't win battles that well and recover pucks. Like, to me, it's like recover. Like, to me, this is what we want Jekai to do. You want him to, clear the net, separate a guy from the puck, win a puck battle, and then make a very easy outlet pass to the forwards so that you can get out of the zone. That's all I want from Jekai. Anything else is bonus, right? But what I see is that sometimes he'll hit somebody or whatever, but he'll lose the puck battle. He'll get confused. He'll scramble a little bit behind the net. He causes turnovers. Like Coach was saying, his outlet passes are in the skates or to the wrong or in the wrong spot, and then it causes the play to be extended in the defensive zone. While Strouble, I find, is way more efficient in separating players from the puck and breaking up plays. Like, Jekai is not like that. That's the most succinct way I can put it, Enortap. Strouble is better at breaking up plays than Jekai is. And as a defenseman, that's, to me, job number one is killing plays. And Jekai is not that good at.
Again, I propose the question. Then why would they go with Jekai over Strouble?
I wouldn't be shocked if they play Strouble in the, if you're looking at the game against Toronto, who they don't have Reeves anymore. So who's Jekai in the lineup for Toronto? Why do you need him in that lineup?
Exactly. Yeah. But they'll probably end up playing Jekai over Strouble. I don't know.
I wouldn't be shocked if they put Strouble in instead.
Okay. We'll have to wait and see.
Here we go. Anyway, at the office, it's not Jekai in Enortap, by the way, but at the office, one player I forgot, guys, is Tobej. Tobej have a great camp, in my opinion. He's better, improve a lot, in my opinion, Tobej. So I don't want to go further. You talk about Joshua Roy early, and I'm going to surprise all of you with my office. It's just... It's Jake Evans. It's Jake Evans.
I knew you were going there.
Jake Evans right now, I don't know, but he does not bring what he's supposed to do. I did not like his game overall. I know what he does on the PK. I know he's a 4-line center, but he's struggling, in my opinion, right now. I think he needs to step up his game. Since January, I think he scored 1 goal. And I'm a bit concerned about that for Evans. I think it's just like, une petite baguette sur les petits doigts. Là. Just to click, wake up, man. That'd be good. So it's not, again, a big office right now. It's okay.
I'm only expecting 8 goals from Jake Evans this year. So, 8 goals.
It's not about the goal. Again, it's not about the goal only. It's about his play overall. I think it's just a wake-up call. That's pretty much what I've said about this. I don't want that. But I'm really excited, guys, about Mr. Tobias. Before we go to review, we are 8:54. I think I have a lot of bold prediction, guys. I think everybody will going to like it because they are bold and I'm going to piss off some people. So I said Enortap's coming tonight with me, so why not to piss him off a little bit about that. So let's see what we get here, guys. And the bold prediction is you answer that way. True or false? And that's it. It's nothing big, but I think it'll be a good conversation. We have 30 more minutes to go. If we have time, we're going to do a clash. If not, we can do tomorrow. It's no big deal. So I have about 7 or 8 bold prediction. And you tell me yes or no. I'm going to alternate. So we're going to start with Marco, then Enortap, and then Enortap do question number 2, all the way like that. The Team USA win the gold medal at the Olympics 2026. Marco.
True. Yeah, I think the U.S. is going to win. They could have easily won the First Nations or the Four Nations Cup too. It was that close. I think they are going to win the gold medal. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Enortap.
I'm going to push back and say false. Of course, they were very close and not much separated the two teams. Where one team's strength was, the other team obviously was stronger in other areas. At the end of the day, it's Canada, and they always find a way, and it plays in the head of those U.S. players. That's why we saw those 3 fights. They wanted to change that mentality and set it forth differently, but it didn't work out for them, and it won't work out again at the Olympics.
All right. I like it. We have already a split right there, so I have to pick one of you two. I'm going to say false, and I'm going to make A2 smiling because they don't have Lane Hudson at the Olympics.
They might.
So, false for that one. I can't wait for Olympics. That would be fun, by the way. Anyway, Tage Thompson win the Rocket.
I'm going to say... Yeah. I don't think so. I think he's going to have a very good year. I think he'll up his goals for sure. But, there's still some key players out there that...
If you said false, okay? If you said no, give me a name.
Yeah.
Give me a name.
You know what? I'm going to say Draisaitl.
All right.
Marco.
Definitely false. I don't think Tage Thompson's going to win. I'm gonna say Austin Matthews is going to win. And by the way, guys, I'm not rooting for Canada not to win. I just don't think they are. I want them to win. Please don't deport me. I love living in Canada.
Same thing, Marco.
It's not the same thing. Anyways, I'm gonna say Austin Matthews. I guess you could call me a traitor on both fronts to say Austin Matthews is going to win the Rocket and that the U.S. is going to win the gold medal. Yikes. Okay, I know it's looking bad, but okay, that's what I think is going to happen.
That's okay.
A lot of people take Léon Draisaitl to win the Rocket.
It's a good pick.
That's a good choice, by the way.
I would not be surprised, Coach. I would not be surprised. Like I said, Draisaitl, but I wouldn't be surprised. Even McDavid. It seems like he's going to have a little bit of an edge again this year. And when he did that last time, what did he score? I think 55 goals, if I'm not mistaken.
26 goals last year only for McDavid.
No, 2 years ago. 2 years
64, I believe, was 60 or 64.
Yeah, Pa. That's right.
Yeah. Look, this is a great pick, Tage Thompson. It's just have so many people can winning the Rocket, right? But, like you go sometimes at the horse racing, you put un petit 2 piastres sur le cheval qui n'est pas supposé gagner. Donc, je vais y
Long
aller, moi,
shot.
avec Tage Thompson is the winner of the Rocket for the upcoming season. My bowl. Mr. Gerard de Alberta is with us tonight. Gerard, welcome back. Don't forget, everybody, to click on the like. We're missing a couple to get 50. The next one, guys, he signed a deal of $17 million. The Wild are going to miss the playoff. Mr. Enortap. Marco.
Ew. That's a tough one. Like, that division is weird to me. So, Colorado's going to be good. Winnipeg's going to be good. St. Louis. I think they're going to be more of a wild card team, but I think they're still going to be okay. I'm going to say false. I think they'll make the playoffs, but it's going to be tight. They're going to be right there battling with teams like St. Louis, I think, for a wild card spot. But I think they'll make it in.
Yeah, that Central is tough, man. You got Dallas, you got Colorado, Winnipeg, Utah. I think could make a push this year. I think when the three teams I'm looking at are Minnesota, Utah, and St. Louis, and I think one of those makes it in. But I have to answer this: will Minnesota miss the playoffs? I'm going to say they're better, but they're going to miss. I would agree. That's true.
I agree with that. Minnesota Wild, we're going to miss it for the upcoming season. A lot of comments in the chat. Don't forget to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great. Now, Mr. Enortap, he's going to be the first coach fired. Andrew Brunette.
Oh, I think it's false. I don't see that, Coach. I mean, he brings a lot to the game. He knows his stuff, but I don't see him being let go at this point. Maybe at the end of the year he might be a casualty if they don't achieve the goals that they've set, but he won't be the first one. Do you want to know who the first one might be?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be him because I think Barry Trotz came out publicly saying that he's going to stick with them for a while, unless Barry Trotz gets fired, which is not impossible. Like Barry Trotz, I don't know what that guy's doing. Like sometimes coaches, like I think what was the last coach that we saw? I think it was Jacques Martin was like the GM of the Florida Panthers for a while. That's weird to think of that, but sometimes a coach as a GM, it does not work out at all. So maybe if both of them get thrown out at the same time. But to me, is RDP in the chat tonight?
I would say,
maybe
I would say Lindy Ruff.
Yeah, Lindy's kind of the guy, but we'll see kind of how Buffalo does here. But to me, he's I think the one who doesn't have a contract right going into next year too. So
yeah, and the thing is, if Buffalo yet again doesn't make the playoffs, I mean, you have no option really. You can't keep bringing out the same personnel and expect different results.
Very strange move. I think we all, other than RDP was pumped when Lindy Ruff was hired, and I can understand why. Like it's a
good man. Yeah,
is a good guy, and like it kind of brings back all the good memories from when Buffalo was competitive, right? But yeah, you need some new thinking there for sure. But yeah, like I don't see that.
That's a good one. I just tried to figure out which thing is going to be with the high expectation if they can get a very bad start, right? And but Ottawa. I think I'm sorry.
Ottawa, maybe.
Yeah, I would say yes. Yeah. They cannot start very good. They cannot start very bad. It's 2 years now, and usually Jack Adams winner lose his job. So I go with Brunette on that one. So true for that one. The next one, I like it. Knight, more goal.
Knight?
Not Knight, but Wright, more goal.
Oh,
Saint okay. Wright.
I thought you meant the goalie.
Yeah, I know.
Spencer Knight.
Who's going first on this one? I think it was Enortap.
Yeah, it's yours. It's yours, I think.
Mine?
1, 2,
No, it's
3, 4.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
1,
so
2.
more goals. I don't know. Like it's weird for Seattle, right? Because it's weird how they signed so many free agents, and it's gonna be hard for him to get into the top 6. Like they have Stevenson, and like they made some weird choices there. It's gonna be close though. Like I still think he's gonna have a good season. But I'm going to say false. Like, I still think Slav is going to. I don't think Slav is going to. I think Slav maybe he'll get like 24, 25 goals this year, maybe. So I'm going to say false. I still think Slav will get more goals. Just because I find it's going to be hard for Wright to get into the top 6 right away for Seattle.
Yeah, I would agree with that, Marco. I think Slav has more opportunity. Like he's on the PP1, he's on the first line, so there's more opportunity for him to accumulate those points, but specifically goals as well. He should be good for 20 to 25.
I go with true on that one. Right, I have 19 goals last season. It was his play about 40 minutes per game. He played on power play. I understand all your point of view about that, but I would go slightly with Shane Wright. More goal, but Sakowski have more point. So on that one, I go with more goal there. There we go. We talk about this. We talk about him a little bit early, Mr. Enortap. And I gave him a 3 Norris this summer, the next couple of years. May you get 50 points.
Well, if we take what he's done in the exhibition game so far, he's played 4 games and has 4 assists, and you project it over the year, he's definitely going to hit it. But I'm gonna say false. I think he comes slightly underneath. He's gonna have a good year, but I think it's gonna be under.
I was really difficult to put the number there, like 43, 46.
Yeah,
that was like
50,
I think it's in the low 40s.
It's because if I put 45, it would be too easy to. With 40 something, is the eyes would be easy to see. So I said 50.
50. It would have made it a tougher question for me if it was like 40. But 50 is definitely. I don't see him getting 50 assists or 50 points even. 50 points is still a lot, man. Like I don't think he's going to get first unit power play. I think it's still going to be probably, Holmberg. Yeah, Holmberg that gets it. So I don't know. Like I'm going to say not at all on that one. But I think he will have a good season. I think he'll play the whole season, but I don't think he'll get 50 points.
Okay, I'm going to go deeper about that one. If he get 50 points et plus, Marco, do you think he's on a nomination for the Calder Trophy?
I think it's going to be very competitive. Like for those of you who are not in our fantasy draft, I drafted at least 4 of the players that I think are going to be part of the Calder race. There's going to be Zev Bouillon, there's going to be Perek, there's going to be Leonard. Like it's going to be a very competitive race, I think, for the Calder Trophy this year. Yeah, we haven't mentioned Schaefer. Like, geez, so I don't think. I don't think so. Like, I don't think he'll be even with 50 points. I don't think he with the class of rookies this year. I don't think he would. No.
Yeah, definitely not.
He better not.
Not a nomination, right? I don't give him the Calder Trophy.
No, I don't think he would even get nominated.
If he gets that, then we got ripped off on the trade.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't answer. Move on to the next one, Mr. Enortap.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
Crosby stay, but not Malkin. And Marco.
No, I think it's me, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna say false. I do see Crosby moving. There was even something today from, I believe it was Elliot Friedman, or Cervelli. I'm not sure. They were talking about the fact that apparently Crosby's even had discussions with his family about the possibility of moving. And so things are ready. The gears are moving, right? And I think it happens, especially if Pittsburgh drops off very quickly. I don't think he wants to go through another losing year. And I think the worst and yet the best thing that happened is Four Nations, because it gave him that energy. I mean, he's always played well, of course, but it gave him that extra urge to want to win and play with a solid team yet again. So I'm going to say Crosby leaves, and so does Malkin. So that statement would be false.
Yeah, I'm with you, Enortap. I think both of them are gonna, and I think it would be terrible for hockey if they're still in Pittsburgh. The sooner the better. Like the sooner, it's terrible for everyone if they stay there. It's terrible for the Penguins. It's terrible for the NHL. So they just need to shit or get off the pot. I think they need to just make this happen.
Hopefully, Dubas gives them an 8-year contract for $10 million.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, but yeah, like I think both of them are going to be moved for sure before I'd say even like maybe even before maybe right after the Olympics, before the trade deadline. Like if you're getting one of those guys, especially Crosby, because there's another year, Crosby's going to be a lot more expensive to get. So if I'm a team wanting to get him, I want more of him. So I'm making that move. Let's start tracking it after American Thanksgiving and see where things are going to be.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. I watched Pittsburgh again this weekend, everything, and if he's going down and down, how Crosby can motivate? I don't understand how he can sit there just because loyalty. He delivered ticket the whole season to the lure, and he want to beat the Jagger record, everything like that. I think something will happen with the Pittsburgh Penguins the first 6 weeks. That answer, guys, I'm going to give you that answer more in November. But right now, I see falls right now. And I'm going to be crazy now here. They're going to trade Crosby to the Montreal Canadiens for nothing. When I say nothing, it's not like a nobody. But I'm talking about you thinking he's going to get like a first round pick. They're going to get this. No.
Future consideration.
No.
I feel they're going to give two players or something where he said, wow, I was never expect.
No.
I feel like the Pittsburgh are going to give a gift to Crosby. He said, look, it's time to go. Crosby says, it's time to go. And Pittsburgh said, you know what? It's okay. And he's going to get lower at what the people expect for Crosby.
I think it's somewhere in the middle, Coach. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, a lot of people are saying, oh, you're going to have to give, like, I think it was Pierre Maguire's like, oh, you're going to have to give up Reinbacher plus something. And like, I don't think it's going to be like that. But I think for sure a package has to include the first round pick, protected, obviously, right? But then
lower, Marco. That's my point. Like lower at what your people expect.
It's not going to be Reinbacher or a player like that. It's not going to be Michael.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right, Coach. It won't be as high as people predict the return. For it.
And again, I want to be surprised this happening because this thing could be ugly, really.
But Montreal has to have a good. The important thing is Montreal has to have a good start to the year. If they're kind of like, let's say it's the same thing as last year, and they're like, like 8 points behind, but like they're not. Crosby's not going to want to go there. If I'm Crosby, I'm looking very carefully to see how Montreal starts out the year because, I don't want to kind of join a team that is going to maybe make the playoffs. Like I want to be joining a winning. Yeah, because there's other teams that he might want to go to.
Okay, we cannot do a bold prediction without them, Mr. Enortap. So let's go with the Mr. LDP. Buffalo will miss the series and Adam would be out. Detroit missed the series and Yzerman will be out.
I will say Is it my turn or yours, Marco?
You go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to say true. You can't. I was saying it earlier. You just can't keep bringing the same thing over and over every year, missing the playoffs. Like Buffalo, how many years is it now?
14.
Yeah, something to that effect. And they've tried a number of different things, and all that their upper management has done is traded players that went on to another team and became rather proficient. So I don't see that. I mean, I see that as a possibility that he does get fired. With Detroit, Yzerman, I mean, he had the Yzer plan, but somewhere along the line, he wasn't as patient as so far we're seeing with Hughes, and it created, certain situations like a very poor defense collectively, as well as it seems like a revolving door with goaltenders. Part of it is developmental, maybe, but it's also bringing in all sorts of different pieces, hoping that this works and that, and it's not working. If they don't make the playoffs, they definitely will be. Yzerman, I think, will be out.
Oh man, I don't know. Like guys, I suck at predictions. But I don't know. Like I liked Detroit's. I like Detroit's camp, and I like their preseason. Like Brandon Niesgaard or whatever, and Sandin Pellikka looked really good. I think they're going to start to infuse some of their younger players here. Like I think Detroit's going to
stay. Nigar is stay right now.
Yeah, Niesgaard.
At least for the first 8-9 game for sure.
Yeah. So, I think like Detroit's going to be right there. They're going to be closer to Ottawa and Montreal than I think people think. But Buffalo, I still just don't. I don't like their defense. I find that they have amazing defensemen, but they don't have the right mix of players. Like to me, I just don't like the way that they're built. Still, they have great assets, but guys, we talk about roster construction all the time. Buffalo just has a bunch of good players. They haven't constructed a roster yet. I think Detroit's a little bit ahead of them in that regard. So I'm going to say yes for Adams, but I don't think that's the case for Yzerman. I think Yzerman, he's getting there. Like it's not going to be forever, but I still think he has a little bit of rope, I think. But Adams, not so much.
I go with through on that one. Both of them will be out at the end of the year next season.
All right.
Next one. Panarin trade at the trade deadline.
Ooh. I think I have to go first on this one. I don't think so, guys. Like I think it's pretty hard for New York to where they're at right now. Like unless you're really going to sell to the market that you're kind of doing another rebuild or something. Like I know he's an RFA, sorry, a UFA, but I don't see them trading him at the trade deadline, especially if they're in the mix. So I'm going to say false. If you're the Rangers, I think you'd rather even just lose him for nothing and make the playoffs or be in the mix than signaling to your fan base that you're kind of folding and just trading him for assets. So I would be very surprised if they did that.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Marco, at the end when you said, how are they going to be performing? And then that's going to be the key thing. I think before Panarin goes, I think Zibanejad might be a victim prior to him. I know this year they're trying him on the wing, and so far he hasn't been bad. He's actually been decent in the preseason, but that's the preseason. We'll see how this goes forward. But some of the problems they had last year have not gone away. They have so much talent on that team, but somehow the chemistry isn't there. The upper management really did a number with the trust component between the players and management. And I think if they get off to a bad start, they might start selling off. So I'm going to say true.
There we go.
Are they going to send another? Are they going to ask Jeff Gordon for his email template for how to send a letter to the fan base about a rebuild?
I don't think he'd be too happy to give it.
No, I don't think he'll be offering that up generously. No.
I agree with that. Panarin will be traded at the trade deadline.
Wow. What a mess in New York if that's wow.
We have 3 to go. The Oilers and the Fleur Panthers eliminate at the first round.
I hope so, guys. I there's some people that love having the same. Like, I think I'm good 2 years in a row with the same teams in the final. Like, I don't need to see that again. I've already seen the first part and the sequel, and they both ended the same way. So I don't think I need to see that again. I don't think the Oilers are a better team than they were last year. I think they're a much worse team. And they're much worse team than 2 years ago. So I don't see Edmonton going unless, and again, we don't know what they're going to do. It's early, so I don't understand people that make Stanley Cup predictions because.
Brad Badbury, News Discover, the Hockey National Show. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for welcome. Yeah, I don't understand people that make Stanley Cup predictions because there's so many things that could change with teams and injuries and so I don't know. But all I'll say is I don't know. I don't think Oilers are a better team than they were this year, and we know obviously what's going on with Barkov. So I don't know if they'll be eliminated in the first round. There's so many things that could happen before then, coach. So it's really hard. But can I get away with just saying I think both teams are not in better positions than they were last year? I don't know.
Doesn't answer the question.
I'm going to say yes then. I don't know.
Yes.
Sure. Yes.
Well, I mean, the puzzling part here is not the fact that I agree that, probably getting to the Stanley Cup Finals is not going to be an easy chore for the Oilers, and it'll definitely be difficult for Florida as well. It doesn't mean that they don't have the depth and that they can't do it. It's just that they're already faced with a lot of obstacles along the way, and we'll see how they overcome it. But the problem is, Marco, if you look at that Pacific, I mean, are we possibly looking at LA and Oilers again meeting in the playoffs first round? I mean, it's a very distinct possibility. And if that's the case, I don't think they get eliminated in the first round because I don't see LA having done anything to improve themselves and dispel that myth.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. Again, it's hard to say. I want to see what Anaheim does in that division as well too. They're going to be a sneaky good team this year. I would be if I'm Edmonton, I'd be afraid to face a team like that, just really hungry rookie team that doesn't know any better, that with a lot of good young players. I don't know. It really depends who they're facing. I have no idea.
Mr. Shark is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, directly for the Nashville Prize Stone, the Prize Stone of the arena. Mr. Shark, he is the number one guys and Instagram, by the way. He have all that kind of picture, guys, with Darren Pank, Taylor Swift. This guy is a star in Nashville, ladies and gentlemen. The Sharks. And now we have a breaking news.
Uh-oh.
I went to the city, to the jungle. He went to the jungle, back in the city. He's back from Edmonton, Mr. N2 and Mr. NT. Kuivula is in the house tonight. Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
Hockey season must be starting. Hockey season must be starting if Auntie's back in the house. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome.
Wow, Andy. We sent Danny in Alberta to look for you, to try to find you. He came back, said some report. He said, I cannot find it. So I sent Luciano. But Luciano is still there right now. So I don't know he will find you. But we are happy to see you in the chat tonight, Mr. AK. We miss you. Hopefully you're doing well. And hopefully to see you more often in the chat. So glad to see you, my friend AK. We really miss you, to be honest with you. And unfortunately, you cannot win the Frenchy quiz. It's over last Friday. Marco, the Pittsburgh Penguins finished last in the standing.
It really depends on how quickly they start selling off pieces, right? Like if they start selling off pieces, to me, it would be in their best interest to do that, just because we know how sexy this particular crop of prospects are, right? So I just don't know if they're going to do that, though. So I'm going to say no, because I still think Chicago and San Jose are probably a little bit. I don't know, yeah, because I think Pittsburgh does play in the Metro, and I think it's even a weaker division. So I'm going to say no. I'm going to say unless they really trade people early here, I'm just going to say I think they're a bottom 5 team though, for sure. But I don't know if they'll finish last.
Enortap?
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. I think again, it all depends on the start, and if they start selling off the pieces that we talked about, and the intent is obviously to get the greatest opportunity to get the number 1 pick, and there's many ways to do it. Some are for the players that they're going to be selling off to get first round picks and also win the lottery and finishing last. So I'm going to say, yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you follow baseball. I follow right now, but we just saw an error at a Bill Buckner.
Oh, no.
For the Seattle Kraken, for the Seattle Mariner. One man on the base, the ball is straight to him, and he bubbled with the ball and opened the door, and now Seattle tied the game 2-2. So
like it went 5-hole. Like it went 5-hole. Yeah, the ball went 5-hole on him. Because that's what I remember. But Bill Buckner, he went like the ball went 5-hole at first base, right?
Yeah.
He missed it with the glove and went right between his legs.
Yeah, exactly. So glad to see you, Mr. Andy. Glad to you alive. We miss you again. And the last one, because we go with the Pittsburgh Penguins finish last. I knew some people said no. So I said, you're going to have a surprise at the NHL Draft 2026. The Flyers win the lottery and they get McKenna.
Ooh, that would hurt. I would much rather Pittsburgh get it. Sorry. So you're asking if this is true or false, Coach? Like, geez, like you're like I wish I had the answers. Like this, you don't watch movies, Coach, but Enortap, remember like Back to the Future when Biff like goes back and he has the almanac with him and he makes a whole bunch of money because he has all the scores. Like I don't know if you think we have answers to what's going to happen. I wish I knew, but
it's impossible to tell, right?
But yeah, like but is it possible? Like I think the Flyers, they're for sure a bottom 10 team. I don't know if they're a bottom 5 team. So I don't know if they're going to have the best chances to win the lottery, but hey, the Islanders won the lottery last year, so Jesus, like it's impossible to know, right?
It was too easy to put San Jose or to put Chicago there, so I said I would try to find a team can find the win the lottery.
What about Nashville? Nashville, that's a sneaky.
It was my second put there, but I feel because Roman Ozy is coming, I think Nashville is going to surprise a lot of teams this year.
No.
I don't know. Well, I hope so, but it's not going to. I don't think we're going to see that. I think we could see a setback with Calgary, though. That's a distinct possibility.
Mark Elliott, you may be right about that one also, about that. Look, this concludes all the bold predictions. Maybe do more tomorrow night at the show. Tomorrow night, guys, but first of all, I want to bring you back here. So let me check this. We have a few minutes, guys. I want to give you a little bit more what's coming tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, guys, we do the prediction of everything for the season. We're going to take a note. I still have all the notes for last season I need to bring back to you guys, but I'm going to do that. And then we start a new game this year. It's called the Hockey Nation Survivor Marco Enortap. So what happening? We're going to take a note. It's easy. I think it's fair. I think it's good. Every Saturday, you have to pick one team to win. And you give it to me at any time. You can give me like a Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I take a note. And then the Saturday, we're going to accumulate. It's more easy and after to make everybody. And then if you're out, we're going to tell you Sunday, you're at the Sunday French Canadian or whatever, it's on Sunday, we'll tell you you're out or in. And then I'm going to move on all the way to the end. So I thought it would be fun. So Survivor Mode is a new one, and it starts tomorrow. So don't give me the answer right now tonight. I'm not going to take a note. But starting this week, check all the games this Saturday. And Saturday, guys, you give me your Survivor team. We'll take a note and keep it.
Can I just explain? So just to make sure I understand. So every Saturday, you give the name of a team that you think will win.
Yes.
Okay. So, and if you chose correctly, then you get a streak going, right? So it's whoever has. So are you going to track like the longest winning streak of the season kind of thing?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Okay. Until to the end. You have about 23 Saturday, I believe.
Okay. But like, what if like it's likely? So what happens if like nobody makes it all the way to the end? Like
that's it. It's over. Oh no, the last one go all the way to the end.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe at 16 weeks, we have two people, and maybe they lose both, but they win the contest.
But Coach, are you talking about cumulative? How many correct wins you get?
No. You're just choosing one team.
One team this Saturday.
One team. Yeah, but cumulative meaning you're picking one team every week.
Yeah.
As soon as you lose, you're out. As soon as you lose, you're eliminated. You're
out.
Done.
So you're eliminated. Okay. Also, if I pick, let's say this week I pick Colorado, am I allowed to pick them again next week?
Next week, you cannot take Colorado again.
Right. Oh. Exactly.
Okay. So you move on to the next one and the next one. You cannot pick the same team 2 times during the week, during the contest.
Yeah, you're going to need to write all these rules down, Coach. You need to write all this shit down.
Everything will be done. Will be we have a Smith did with confirm to follow everything here. So
all right,
that makes sense.
Coach, another thing. So let's say somebody wins after 4 weeks. Are you going to start another Survivor? Like, or we have more than one in the season, maybe?
Yeah, if it's we can do that, or we can give a mulligan at some point, whatever it is. So we'll see.
Okay.
We can do that for sure. We can get a Survivor mode for the beat tournament.
So whoever is the survivor gets to go in the jungle with Coach. Do you ever see the Enortap? Do you ever see the show Naked and? You ever see the show Naked and Afraid, where they have to go? So it'd be like Naked and Afraid, but it would be Thailand version with Coach and
with Coach.
Whoever.
And every Sunday, guys, we do something here at the Hockey Nation. We do the preview of the week. And we do again, we're going to do the contest. Remember, we do that. We gave the number, the point. That's the upcoming week. So Montreal Canadiens play Toronto, Detroit, Chicago. Guys, it's your time to give me the number of the point you expect for the Montreal Canadiens next week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Toronto and Detroit are back-to-back. Yeah, I'll go first. Toronto and Detroit are back-to-back. I'm going to say 3 points.
3 points.
Yeah. So they'll lose in overtime, and I think they'll win against Chicago, but they're going to lose one of those 2 games in overtime.
Enough that.
For me, 5.
5.
Whoa. 5. I'm going with 5. I think they do lose one in overtime, but the other 2 they'll get 4 points.
5 points for N26. But now you open the door for Steven. Go with 4. I go with 7 on that one. Ron, go with 2. LDP with 4. Guy got 5. A2 2. Wow.
People are very confident about St. Louis camp, I see.
Triple W 3, like Marco. Perfect week for Jerry. Wow.
Jeez.
7, 4.
Attaboy, Pete.
Back to back.
Billy 2, Run 5.
Attaboy, Run.
We have a 2, Pete Martin 6. And that's it. 6 for Mac Elliott also, guys. Wow. All right. I will let Luc Lafortune 4. Luc, he follow me, guys. I like that. He trusts me tonight, Mr. Luc. I love it.
He just wants to come to the jungle.
Gary Conway is 5 and David 4. And we have Garrett 5. Garrett.
Coach, as you're counting that, though, just as you're counting that, for your Survivor game,
yep,
you need to. You still haven't showed us pictures of your jungle surroundings. So I think
it's coming. It's coming.
Okay. I think for the Survivor game, I want like a picture of you in your environment. Yeah, and with the headline Survivor, with you like in the jungle with some chickens.
Maybe it would be the one of the RJ6. Maybe that would be a picture of the Survivor game about that.
Yeah,
Bobby, go with 8. You cannot go with 8. They play only 3 games, Bobby. Good try. I love you, optimist about that. Roger Delaney, go with 5, guys. Roger Delaney is in the house again tonight. Thanks so much, my friend.
He's the master.
Thanks, both of you, to be with us. I'm going to finishing with the people, so you don't have to stay with me too long. You're welcome to join tomorrow night for the prediction if you want to. If not, it's all good. A lot of busy things going on this week. I can wait see you next week. And of course, Brad Badbury, guys, a new subscriber. Thanks so much. He gave us the answer 5 for Brad. Thanks so much, my friend. Don't forget everybody to connect. Marco, great job. One word about what is coming for the Montreal this week.
One word, I'm going to say patience. Patience, to see what's going to happen. It's not going to be like, to me, I'm looking at the first 10 games. So I'm not going to panic just in the first 3 games. I'm going to really try to wait and see what happens first 10 games. But that's my word here. I'm excited, but I'm going to try to be patient for the start of the season.
And after that,
I'll use 2 words: 5 points.
There you go.
Keep it simple. Look, you have to give them time. Obviously, we said that earlier about being patient with the lines and trying to establish what lines work best, and that will take time. The defensive core looks a little bit better. I like the fact that there's consistency. They didn't mess around with the pairings too much. So I think that's important.
I go with fun for this week, or I can go with excitement if you want to go that direction. So
you said 2 words. You said 2 words. Oh no, it was 1 word. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
one word,
it's just fun or excitement to see the Montreal getting this week. A lot of people say win, confusion, everything. Marco, thanks so much for the tonight. I can wait to see you next time. And same thing for you, Mr. Enortap. Always a pleasure. And I can wait to see you next week. Next Sunday for Enortap. And Marco going to pick it up, I think, next week. Not this week, but the following week on the home day. Now we're going to use the breakdown and the another one. What is the other one? The breakdown and I can't remember.
I don't know. I have to look at it. It's been a while.
Something like that. Entertaining for Mac Elliott for this week, by the way. So thanks so much, both of you. I will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Good night. Good night.
There we go, guys. We want to thank all of you tonight. RJ Calabro. We missed about 2 or 3 to get 60. If you don't mind, that'd be great. Turtle soup. We have a lot of things here, guys. I'll be honest with you. I'm building a chicken coop right now. And we want to thank the super chat tonight. We got Darrell. Thanks so much for the super chat, $5. And Tom M. Thanks so much for the super chat. 2 great super chat at the Hockey Nation tonight. Very kind of you. And I can't wait to see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. We're going to be back again for the hockey prediction night. We're going to go through around everything about that. And I can wait. IDP said mute. Maybe not me, but maybe someone else. P.S. Good night, everybody. M&M go with 4. That's what I'm looking for M&M. We want to thank Ron, the moderator of the Hockey Nation Live Show, Marco and Enortap for the co-host, and all the spare chat, and all the people click on the likes. Some of you was with me afternoon, and then tonight, appreciate a lot, PW, and of course, many others like Mark Elliott.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
Good night, Bobby. Thanks to be with us. Be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate the second app or what? Maybe look like Watson. Set 2025. A pleasure, PLW. Honestly, PLW, yes, it's a lot of hours, but with so fun. I don't see, like, I'm a little bit tired, to be honest with you. I'm going to get to bed very soon. But it's fun. I enjoy it. It's not a lot of fun. I wish I can do more baseball game. I'm going to do more playoff football also. Anyhow, have a great night, everybody. Great week. Don't forget to come back. We're missing a few to get 10,000. Sharing with us, Mark Elliott. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. And pray for Jose Duarte and many others, guys, and our top family, of course. Have a great night, everybody. See you at the Hockey Nation, the Ab Nation, and all the animal in the jungle in Thailand. Want to say more things. We love you, friends. Good night. See you tomorrow night. How's your bro? News and update. Thanks so much, buddy. Thanks, David. Good night. P.S. Booyah! Salut, Pete!